Hey fam, what's up? It's Dr. O here. And yes, I'm emphasizing the term doctor in light of all of the conversations that are happening right now surrounding Dr. Jill Epstein and that ridiculous commentary, Dr. Jill Biden, excuse me, and the ridiculous commentary that was written by Joseph Epstein in the Wall Street Journal. So it's amazing. It's amazing. And as most of us know, it's not surprising, but it's amazing. Look, full stop. I agree 100% with all of the conversations about how this is sexist. But there's another point I want to add to this that many of us aren't discussing. But yes, full stop. This is sexist. This is what we see with many of these conservatives who can only define the relationship of women to the men in their lives. I teach a course on historical biography and Jay-Z, and one of the things I teach about writing historical biography is how it's harder to find information on a woman because through marriage there are, different changes in the names, and so it makes it a lot easier. It makes it a lot harder to find women if their names have changed. And even my mom, who has a PhD from Harvard, there were people who said that, oh, I couldn't find your dissertation. Are you sure that you went there? And so on and so forth. Well, because they were looking at her under my dad's name and not her maiden name. And the list just goes on and on. So the sexism is real. Denying women their greatness is real. We understand that. I want to add another aspect to this that some of us are not discussing, that more of us should be discussing. This is also part of a climate of anti-intellectualism that we see in America, which has been growing for decades. This hate. We already know that there's a hate of people who may have wealth and rich and all that other type of stuff, but there's also a hate for people who have education. I can't tell you how many times whenever somebody wants to critique something I'm saying on Twitter or some other social media source, the first thing they're going to say is, and where did you get your doctorate? What's your doctorate in? I can't believe they will let you get a PhD. And this has been exacerbated by the soon-to-be former president of the United States, Donald Trump, who is the anti-intellectual representative in every way you can think about. This is a man who basically has said that I am the same person. This is verbatim. I am the same person I have been since I was in the 8th grade. Or no, I'm sorry, since he was 8 years old. Either way, right? It's bad. But he celebrates that. He goes on to these rallies and talks about, oh, I'm not these elites. I'm not this. I'm not that. And he makes it proud. And he's quick to say, I'm not politically correct. Political correctness is about basic respect. But this is where we are as a society. We are so dumbed down that we do not want to accept people's intelligence. I remember one of the beasts that were made about President Obama when he was running for office is that people actually said that he was what? He sounded too professorial. Seriously? People kept making this distinction over between him and the president before him, George W. Bush, about, oh, we just want a president that we can just sit down and feel like we can have a beer with. And that became like a thing. Well, I got news for you. I don't want to feel like I could just have a beer with the president. I want to feel like the person who's the president of the United States, whether regardless of the party that they hold, is smarter than me on most issues that require that president to lead the country. But this is where we are right now. Look at our educational system. We don't teach critical thinking anymore. We haven't done it in about 2 generations since like Bill Bennett was the Secretary of Education. Our students are not taught civic education. So people actually think they can go and protest in front of the Supreme Court and the Supreme Court's going to take their case. They don't know. They don't even watch videos like Schoolhouse Rock anymore where people can look at how a bill gets filed. So this is where we are today. This is why not only can Epstein write such an ignorant article, but a so-called reputable journal like the Wall Street Journal that I used to read regularly could publish it and feel absolutely proud in doing so. This is where we are. I was trained by a great motivational speaker by the name of Les Brown, who said that the average American reads 1 book a year when they finish their academic studies. And I can see that it's probably not even that anymore, particularly with all the podcasts and everything else going on today, that people make that their primary source of information as opposed to an additional source of information. I also remember him saying that we line up for at concerts, but we won't line up at libraries. And so this is where we are. And this is why it's okay for people to feel like it's okay to just completely disrespect the accomplishments of Dr. Joe Biden. And they will disrespect her, but have no problem with a woman like Betsy DeVos running the Department of Education, whose ignorance is beyond measure as it relates to knowledge about anything relating to education. My PhD, my doctorate is in education, like Dr. Joe Biden. She is a professor. I am a professor. She has always, just along with her support of the military, she has always given props and respect to teachers. And I am so happy that we have, whether she has a PhD or not, somebody who respects and values education. But the fact that she does have one, knows what it's like, and did it while raising a family, because she did it in her older years, like many of us, including myself, have done, all praises due. All praises due. We could disagree with the Bidens on a lot of things, but the fact of the matter is, Joe and Dr. Joe Biden represent a hard work ethic. They represent working hard to get what you want out of life. And they need to be respected for that. They didn't have everything spoon-fed to them. They worked for these things. And I stand with everybody who condemns the sexism and the misogyny and all of the commentary that has gone on relating to that aspect of Dr. Joe Biden. But we also have to acknowledge that this stems from this anti-intellectual sentiment and climate that exists in this country, which too many people want to usher in, and we have to push back on it. And I'm glad that we have a president and a first lady, doctor, first lady, whatever you want, however you want to say it, who feels the same way. So go do your thing, Dr. Joe Biden. It's like the late Dick Gregory said, you don't need these people to validate you. You don't need us to validate you. And these guys need to do some serious work on the envy that they feel because they have yet to validate themselves. Peace.